Good evening and thank you for joining us. The independent committee investigating the deadly fire at Wanful Court in Taipo held its fourth hearing on Thursday, with more residents of Wanful Court testifying. Danny Zhou reports.
On the fourth day of the hearing, witnesses testified under the guidance of the committee's chief representative, Senior Counsel Victor Dawes. Ms. Wong, the first resident to report the fire to the police, said she heard scaffolding workers shouting fire and suspected that the scaffolding had caught fire. The resident, who lived on the 10th floor of Wan Chung House, recalled that at 2:50 p.m. that day, she smelled smoke and heard scaffolding workers shouting fire. She immediately closed the window and left. Upon exiting, she got to know that neighbours had called the management office and was told something was burning on the scaffolding. She then called 999 to report the incident, but the line was busy 2 or 3 times. The government's lawyer indicated that, according to records, she was the first resident to report the fire. She said she waited for a long time. The call finally connected, and the person on the other end told her to escape down the stairs. Ms. Sin was another resident witness who lived on the 14th floor of Wan Tai House. She recalled being trapped in a home that day. Upon opening the door, she saw thick smoke, immediately closed it and used a wet towel to block the doorway. The unit still had power, so she turned on the exhaust fan and regular fan to blow away the smoke, finding it effective. She also sprayed water on the overhead wire scaffolding netting. She called 999, saying the operator skillfully reassured her. Around 9 p.m, firefighters knocked on the door, put a mask on her and led her up the stairs to escape. The firefighters told her, "There's a large doll on the 12th floor, don't be afraid, and you'll be safe once you step over it." Afterwards, the firefighters removed the body. She said the firefighters didn't cause any further harm to the body, and she was very moved, describing them as the pride of Hong Kong. Ms. Sin said, "The firefighter saved my life." She thanked them for saving her life and also the 999 operator. Independent committee chairman David Look praised Ms. Sin, describing her as a source of pride for Hong Kong. He noted that she thought of so many ways to save herself in a crisis and that her testimony helped the committee and brought positive energy to Hong Kong. Danny Zhou, TVB News.
Other harrowing testimonies highlighted escape failures and possible safety lapses at Wanful Court. Some exterior wall cleaners say they were never informed about the escape routes and waited overnight on the rooftop before being rescued. Others noted water from the fire hose was only enough for washing hands. The independent committee looking into the inferno heard testimonies from George Chung, who lived on the 10th floor of Wang Tai House. Chung had worked in engineering. He recalled having raised concerns to the newly appointed Owners Corporation about putting on scaffolding netting on all 8 blocks at once, warning it could pose a chain fire risk and suggested phasing the works instead. He noted his wife noticed that cigarette butts inside soda cans and cigarette packages littered the evacuation routes in the stairwell refuge openings between the 10th and 11th floors with smoke odors. They reported the situation to contractors, but the concerns were dismissed. The contractors told them the packages might not be from the workers, but could be from upstairs. On the night of the blaze, he, his wife, and a neighbor attempted to flee, but were forced to wait nearly 5 hours for rescue. He says when they opened the door at 8 p.m. and saw the firefighters donning helmet lights, it felt like they saw angels. Another resident who lived on the 30th floor of Wang Kin House says he tried to use the fire hose while escaping, but the water pressure was too weak to even soak his body, only enough to wash his hands. A victim of Wang Tai House who lost his parents in the inferno told the inquiry that he has knowledge of fire safety regulations, as his work involves applications of restaurant licenses. He says the materials used in the building's refuge openings, reportedly wooden boards, were not fire-resistant. Also testified today were 2 exterior wall cleaners. One of the workers said on the first day of work at Wanful Court on November 14th last year, she had only received safety training for about an hour, covering basic protective gear, but was never instructed on fire escape procedures or evacuation routes. She was trapped on the rooftop of Wang Chung House overnight during the blaze before being extricated. Also testifying, her colleague notes they could not find any fire safety equipment, not even fire extinguishers, in their vicinity. A Wancheng House resident voiced frustration that key stakeholders, including the contractors and District Councillor Peggy Wong, declined to testify, calling for greater accountability. Others say they continue to be afflicted by psychological trauma following the incident and have been unable to return to work, urging the inquiry to uncover the truth as soon as possible. The government has proposed to buy property rights from Wanful Court residents. Secretary for Housing Winnie Ho says the maintenance funds of the owner's corporation or any remaining balance would remain untouched. On her social media post, Ho says some owners have expressed worries about what would happen to the corporation's accounts and maintenance funds after the buyback. She stresses the government has no intention of acquiring those funds and that all related rights and balances will remain with the property owners. Authorities are now preparing the legal framework for the buyback, which will clearly set out the terms covering ownership and associated rights. Cathay Pacific Airways has announced another fuel surcharge hike, the second time within 2 weeks. Starting next Wednesday, fuel surcharges will be raised to between $389 and $1,560, marking an increase of as much as 34%. Fuel surcharges for short-haul trips will rise from $290 to $389. For long and medium-haul journeys, the surcharges will increase to $1,560 and $725, respectively. CX says to enable a more agile response to the volatile jet fuel prices, the airline will review and revise the fuel surcharge every 2 weeks to better capture price movements. This increased frequency of review, the carrier says, is intended as a temporary measure and will be revisited when the Middle East situation stabilizes. We have a correction to our top story. The chairman of independent committee looking into the Taipo fire is David Locke. And still ahead, creativity abounds as Art Basel opens in Hong Kong tomorrow. A fire at a recycling site in Taipo injured 5 people, including 1 firefighter. Welcome back. Art Basel Hong Kong 2026 will kick off on Friday at the Hong Kong Convention and Exhibition Center. The fair presents a variety of modern and contemporary art. Samantha Lee took a sneak peek.
Imagine walking into a world where everyday objects become art. Among the classics are Andy Warhol's screen prints of Campbell's soup cans and Picasso's cat and crab on the beach. Moving to something local, this 3-channel video installation where an actress from New Zealand recreated an iconic scene of In the Mood of Love, a romantic drama set in 1962 Hong Kong. This year's Art Basel features more than 240 international galleries from 42 countries and regions. The Time Walker is a bronze sculpture by Filipino artist Charlie Ko.
The moment I captured this work, where you move from one time to the other, it's like going into different time zone. It's now from mechanical to robotic to AI to misinformation. That's why he has a long nose, fake news and everything. And if you look at it globally, it's what's happening right now.
This gallery, based in Seoul, has taken part in Art Basel since 2013. This year, they represent a selection of works by Suki Sukyong Khan, who passed away last year.
This presentation really wants to provide an experience of immersing oneself in this landscape and then making a relationship with the artworks so that we can contemplate about where we belong and then how do we move forward in the current world. Hong Kong has always been an art hub in Asia, and we are always very pleased to be back in Hong Kong because we have a solid client base here.
Art Basel starts with 2 exclusive VIP days for collectors and curators before it opens to the general public. Some visitors were impressed by the art extravaganza.
It's fantastic, very well attended this year, and it's a great event for Hong Kong. We've been coming here every year since it started, so it's becoming more and more popular, and it's wonderful to see so many galleries being represented this year. So I'm really looking forward to hopefully find something that I can afford.
Hong Kong has locked in a 5-year agreement with Art Basel to remain the fair's exclusive host in Asia. If you are planning to visit the event, please remember tickets are only available online. Samantha Lee, TVB News.
A blast at a recycling site in Taipo injured 5 people, including 1 firefighter. More than 100 people had to be evacuated. Online footage shows the recycling yard went up in flames with thick plumes of smoke billowing into the sky. The blaze reportedly erupted at about 11 a.m. at the yard in Taipo Industrial Estate. Former Taiwan People's Party chairman Dr. Ko Wen-je was sentenced to 17 years behind bars after being found guilty of bribery, misappropriation of public funds, and embezzlement. He's also banned from running for public office for 6 years, which means he will not be able to run in the island's 2028 elections. Ko was accused of having accepted 50 million new Taipei dollars, or about 3.6 million Hong Kong dollars in bribes, as well as 2.1 million new Taipei dollars, or $500,000 Hong Kong dollars in political donations. That's in exchange for granting a floor space ratio bonus to a core Pacific development project from 392% to 840%. A transplant surgeon turned politician, Ko Wen-je served as the 13th mayor of Taipei from 2014 to 2022. Back locally, Census and Statistics Department has released a range of information about Hong Kong's population. The city's population stands at about 7.4 million. Sha Tin District is the most populous, with about 687,000 residents, followed by Yuen Long and Kwun Tong. Together, the 3 districts account for more than a quarter of the city's population. At the other end, Wan Chai has the smallest population at around 160,000. Demographically, Hong Kong continues to age. The median age stands at 47. Wong Tai Sin is the oldest district with a median age of 51. Central and Western District tops the monthly income list at $45,000, while Sham Shui Po records the lowest at $25,000. And that's the news. Thank you for watching.